maintained all season that you've got to be at your absolute best to get results in the Premier League. Obviously, huge challenge with trips to the top two. Do you just have to try and embrace that challenge and rise to it?
Yes, we have to. I think both of the two clubs are incredible football clubs. Have been hugely successful over the last 20 years at domestic level, and obviously us gaining entry to the Premier League. We know what we were up against, and even this year when we've not got the results that we've wanted, they've not been runaway victories at our place against Manchester City and Manchester United, and I think looking at the reaction from both teams, they would be delighted to have got the results that they did. So up to us yet again to try and close the gap, which is obviously an enormous one on the pitch in both games starting on Wednesday night, and it's a huge challenge for us and the players, but I think it's already been said, nothing to lose, not expected to get anything, and go out there and give it a go. And that, regardless what happens, Tim, between now and the end of the season, one thing that I will be judging the players on is the attitude, the body language. We're playing up against some fabulous players, groups of players, managers. Said it last time. Watched the Wickham game last night, and you saw the quality of the Spurs squad. And it's no different to when you're playing the likes of your Manchester United and your Manchester City. So, it's a huge challenge to get near them. But that's the biggest thing that I'm looking at from my group of players that I've brought in. What is their attitude like? What is their approach to the game? And have we got an identity? Regardless of the results, we have to, of course, pick up some results between now and the end of the season for obviously to close the gap, and of course pride and respectability. And we'll only do that with showing an identity that has been the forefront of what we've tried to achieve over the last 4.5 years.
It will be a special result to go and win at Manchester United, but could a special result like that be the catalyst for something special in the second half of the season?
Yeah, I mean we have to produce something special to get out of the position that we're in. Statistically, stats, history are all stacked against us. So yeah, you are required to do something out of the ordinary, and one result, as we know, can galvanise and kickstart that. But to get that result, you have to show the qualities that I've talked about, and put in a big performance, and hope that the opposition, have one of those days, and you have a day or a night that you need to get that type of result.
Frank Lampard's departure from Chelsea, the big story this week. What do you make of it? He's a club legend. Does anything surprise you in football anymore?
No. As I've said before, I understand different clubs and different sort of backstories to all different situations. I've got to know Frank through a couple of really competitive games when he was at Derby, and watched him. I was delighted, even though we were, rivals in both of those games, and obviously last year in the Premier League as well. Two favourable results for us. I'm really disappointed for Frank, because time yet again is the key issue here, and as always, whether it's signings or building teams, it's instant, it's immediate, and I'm sure I've messaged Frank, and I'm sure that he'll go again. And I think Steven Gerrard said it as well. You know, he's a football man. He's such an intelligent guy, and I was hugely impressed with what he did last year under the circumstances. And he's brought in players this year that he won't have the ability to see that period through. So I think that's disappointing. I think it's disappointing for the Premier League, for disappointing for English managers as well, because you know, he's going to have to take a step back to move forward again. But I'm sure that will happen. But yet again, patience and time is something that you know, Frank's not been afforded, and ultimately pays the price.
Thanks, Chris. All the best tomorrow.
Cheers, Tim.
Hi, Chris. Hope you're well. It's Andy from Radio Sheffield here. How do you approach this tie at Manchester United tomorrow, then, knowing what you do about them and the form that they are in?
I can't really affect the form that they're in. I can't really affect the players that we're up against. You've all seen it. We've seen it. Our supporters would have seen it. How they're playing. All we can do is affect and control our team, our attitude, and the way we go about it. I think we all talk about, without being defeatist, if they say yes and it's their night and they play to the top of their ability, it's going to be a really tough night for us to get a result. But we're hoping that's not the case, and hoping we flip that around and we play to the top of our ability and have a really special night, as Tim said, to gain that result. And we'll be doing all we can do to try and fake that.
You were talking a moment or so ago about identity. I mean, it's been a season of near misses in terms of performances along the way. Yet, do you still feel that some of that has been lost potentially, of that identity of this team?
No, I don't, because I think it's always a team that gives everything, which is the key to the identity bit. Listen, I can't hide from the fact that individually we've not played as well as we can do, and that affects the team and the team performance. I think always in a season there's some performances that, you know, you really don't enjoy, and I've said that all along in my four and a half years here. Even in the League One days, there's a couple of performances that I didn't enjoy. First year in the champ, and obviously the promotion season, and even last year. So that's been the case, which we understand, and that can happen to everybody. The obviously the rhythm and the momentum of the team has not been in a place where I would have liked it to have been, through various reasons, through things that we need to look at, of course, individual performances, team performances, and other stuff that we really can't do anything about. You know, the ridiculous injuries that we've had right the way along our campaign, and keep saying it, the big moments, and I keep saying it. Harry Kane, 25 yards out, make a mistake, ultimately ends up in the back of the net. An incredible goal by Ndombele, and that's what you're up against in this division, and it's not going to change. But we have to try to cut out those mistakes, play a near perfect game, because that's what we did last year. There's no margin for error with the players that we've got. That's a fact, and those are the margins that we're dealing in.
You take some hope and confidence from the fact that Sheffield United have been involved in some epic games against Man United in the Premier League in the last couple of years.
But that doesn't affect the result or the performance, in my opinion. What happens 3 or 4 years ago, this year, of course, they've been tight games. We can take confidence off the back of that. We can look at the games that we've played against these super clubs, which that's what they are in every aspect. they're super clubs, and that's what we're up against. Incredibly talented teams, as I've talked about, and everything that goes with these, top European clubs, because that's what we're up against. Tottenham, Chelsea coming up, Man U, Man City, they're top European clubs, and we've been on a journey, as I said, 6 years in League One, and bounced his way through pretty quickly, and having a season that's not sitting right with us, but still tight games that we've been involved in last year, against both of the Manchester clubs, home and away. Apart from the away game after lockdown, so 3 out of 4 games and 2 games this year. So we're doing bits and pieces right. We're trying to close that gap, and we have to produce, from recent performances, take all the good things out of those performances, and try and take it into Old Trafford on Wednesday night, and obviously the Etihad on Saturday.
Just finally from me, team news, have things eased or changed at all as regards to McBurney, Mousset, Osborne and their potential availability?
No, we're waiting on Mousset, but the others won't be involved, so I think we've got potentially 9 players out of our group unavailable for the trip on Wednesday. Fingers crossed that there might be 1 or 2 of those boys back for the weekend, but that's a day-to-day observation and a situation.
Thanks. Best of luck tomorrow.
Cheers, Andy.
Rebecca?
Hi Chris, thank you for your time today.
No problem.
You're through to the 5th round of the FA Cup. Do you feel that could be a confidence boost for the squad, having those wins behind you?
Well, definitely, yeah. If we'd have obviously been knocked out, we've not had that opportunity to get the result against Plymouth. So I was pleased with the attitude, the application, the professionalism in both games. I think it's tough, as I've just mentioned the Tottenham game last night. Star-studded team against Gareth Ainsworth's team that he's done an incredible job to get into the Championship, really. So. They're not always straightforward games, so to gain the 2 wins, we'll take them and use them, and I believe we did in the week after the Bristol Rovers game to get a big result against Newcastle and a decent enough performance against Spurs. Hopefully we can learn from that now, through the Plymouth result, and hopefully don't make the mistakes that maybe we made against Spurs, and allow ourselves to be punished very harshly in a division that does.
I know you said you can't reflect too much on old results against Man United, but the last time you did face them in December, you did give them a very good shock result, kind of. I know you didn't beat them, but can you take at least a little bit of experience from that game and take it into the game on Wednesday night? Yeah,
of course we can. I think that I 100% believe that our results don't reflect our performances this season. Statistically, they don't. I think Roy Hodgson said it. It's an anomaly. I think everybody's talked about it. That they can't understand the position that we're in and shake their head, and me included at times, because certainly we should. Well, we should have another 8 to 10 points on the board, but we have to look at ourselves, and we haven't, and what we have to try and effect is these up and coming games, second part of the season, going into the second part of the season now, to make sure that our performances are matched up with results, and taking those chances that we've talked about, taking those big moments that we've talked about. Hopefully the injury list easing, which I'm sure it will do. We don't pick up any fresh injuries, and allows us to gain points to change the position of the football club.
Aaron Ramsdale I spoke to this morning on our ICS. He was obviously in the same position with Bournemouth last year. Is there anything you can kind of take from him and his experience?
Well, he'll take his own experiences from it, but still huge amount of faith in Aaron. It's been tough for him. Everybody's quick to make comparisons. Everybody's quick to make comparisons on last season. I think, you know, if you honestly sat down and talked to Aaron, he'd say that maybe he could have done a little bit better in certain situations. But there's been a lot of things in front of him as well that have not helped him and not helped us in terms of results. And hopefully, if we can affect them, then you know, everything is and will become better for us as a club.
Thank you, Chris.
Cheers, Rebecca. Thanks.
Per.
Yes, hi Chris, how are you?
Hi, Per. No news on Zanderberg. It's another week on, mate.
No news, okay, but I want to ask you anyways. As Rebecca said, the last time you were at Old Trafford, it was a difficult one, but the fact that you maybe go there this time, not expecting too much, and can that be a thing that help your players relax a bit and just enjoy the football?
Yeah, I mean, there's pressure that we all put on ourselves. The players will put the pressure on themselves, so there is nothing to lose. We're up against a team at the top of the division and a team that's cut adrift. So the odds, the opinions will all be favoured in Manchester United's favour. So we can't do anything about that. And I suppose I would. You know, if I was a neutral, would expect this to be a pretty comfortable night for Man United, and we've got to try and make it as uncomfortable as possible for them.
And since you don't have any news on Sunderberg for me, I want to ask you: Are you impressed with the work Ole is doing at Man United after the difficulties they have faced?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that we understand as managers is instant reaction and opinion on you, and none so more than Ole at Manchester United. It comes with the territory, and he knows that football club inside and out, and knows from playing with it, playing for them, and his period there, and working as a young coach, and now managing that's. Comes with the territory, and he's handled it fantastically well, and they're going along superbly at the moment, and we'll do our best to try and derail them. But it's going to be a tough night, but we'll do our best and see where it takes us.